Hello and welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. We're going to introduce you to just a handful of our adoptable pets in this episode. In recent years, we've had a fair amount of FIV positive cats on our adoption floor. Right now we have two, Bamboo and Ruby. And Bamboo is who we're going to be showcasing on the show today. He is a incredibly cute guy. He is a gray tabby and white with an adorable pink little nose. And he has, in addition to being FIV positive, he has a lot of things that definitely set him apart and give him a very unique look and identity. So first off, he is FIV positive, which means that he's just a little bit immunocompromised. He can live with animals with FIV or without. It's something that he doesn't require medication for. It's just you want to make sure he's getting his regular checkups. He may require a little bit more assistance if he does get sick, just because his immune system isn't as strong. The other thing that you're definitely going to notice about Bamboo is that he is pretty much tailless. He's not a Manx. He is your typical domestic short hair, but when Bamboo came in, he had a pretty serious injury to his tail, and it was starting to get infected and things like that. So the best thing to do was to go ahead and amputate that so that he could, get back to the healthy self that we want him to be, so that he can find him a forever home. So Bamboo is tailless. It just adds to his character. He's very friendly, very personable, very playful. Definitely, again, a very cute guy. And he's also a cat that's not afraid to kind of tell you when he's done. So, he's an overall great option. We haven't showcased him on the show before because unfortunately he had an adoption that fell off. So straight out the gate, he got an app. And so this is why you're just now seeing him. But if you're looking for a guy that definitely is ready to just be in a home and not have to worry about, injuries and things like that anymore, then stop by and check out Bamboo. In order to do that, you know what you have to do. Go to visit fcac.as.me. While we're not so much in kitten season anymore, we do have a couple of kittens, especially older kittens, trickling in. We have some, a 4-month-old, a 5-month-old, and then we have 2 7-month-old kittens that actually came in together. We'll be showcasing the male today, Toulouse. He is a very handsome black and white cat, mostly black with some, hints of white. And he is quite a flirt, honestly. He is the cat that's, right at the front of the cage. He's, rolling around. He's, very comfortable showing everybody his belly. He wants to, be petted and loved on and play, and he wants to do all of those things. And the thing about a kitten that's a little bit older that is really great is you still get some of that kind of kitten chaos, right? But also their personalities are a little bit more set. So, the super affectionate, playful guy that you're seeing now is more likely to translate to him being that way as he continues to age. Whereas if you're getting a kitten that's 2-3 months old, their personalities might change a little bit more than Toulouse's. He did come in with Coco, who is housed adjacent to him. They have not been altered yet, so they can't be housed together. But there were also other cats in that previous home, so he is very comfortable being in a multi-cat household, and hopefully would transition nicely into yet another multi-cat household with proper introductions, of course. Doesn't seem to be bothered by the other cats being around him, and again, he's quite social. Our volunteers have spent a lot of time with him, and he isn't one that's seeming to kind of get tired of that attention. And if that's what you're looking for, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to book an appointment to meet Toulouse. If you're a frequent viewer or just somebody who, checks out our Facebook page on a regular basis, then most of the cats we have here are just your typical domestic mixes, domestic short hair, medium hair, long hair. We don't typically get exotic cats on our adoption floor. But today we have something a little bit different for you guys. We have a bonded pair, and they are British short hairs. They did come from a breeder. Unfortunately, their owner had to surrender them due to some, human health issues. So they are here looking for a forever home. Again, at 8 years old, just a nice quiet place to kind of live out those golden years. They are a bonded pair because they do definitely seek comfort from each other. They like to cuddle together. They want to be together, especially in this stressful environment. So we're hoping to keep them together. They are initially very shy, but they are cats that are friendly. They do enjoy petting and those types of things, but they're not necessarily coming up to the front of their cage yet. You can imagine this is quite an adjustment for them and all of the cats, and some of them handle it a little bit better than others. But they do, enjoy the attention. You can pet them, and they have the softest fur, the best tails. I can definitely see how they would shine in a nice, quiet, comfortable home. Because they are a little bit shyer, kind of like places that are a little bit quieter. They are recommended for older children and adults only. Kind of avoiding really, really small kids who might not recognize their body language, tend to be a little bit loud, a little bit more active, things like that. That might be a little unsettling to this pair. But they've been here a relatively short time. We're hoping to kind of see them continue to bloom here, and then hopefully in a short time they will be able to find a forever home. They love cozy beds and all of that stuff. But just, not necessarily loving the stress here. So if you want to take them out of the stressful shelter environment and get them into that quiet retirement space that they're really looking for, you can go to visit fcac.as.me. You wouldn't necessarily be able to tell it just by looking at him, but Luke is also one of our senior residents at 7 years old. We have quite a few seniors, not only on the adoption floor right now, but on our show today. And Luke is quickly becoming some people's favorites because they like that he is a little bit sweet and salty, if you will. Luke is a very affectionate guy. He loves attention. He's quick to purr. When I was trying to take his pictures and things like that, he just crawled right onto my shoulder and just wanted to be cuddled and held and all of those things. So he can be incredibly sweet. But sometimes if he's not in the mood, he's not afraid to let you know, hey, this is not what I'm after right now. Give me some space. So for that reason, he's not recommended for small children, and he would do best in a cat savvy family who can kind of read his body language and know when to give him space. But now that he's, out on our adoption floor, and he's not, we finished doing a lot of our normal kind of medical processing stuff, he does seem to be settling in and is showing more of his affectionate side than his sweet side, if you will, than his salty side. But just something to note for your vet, things like that he might not be super thrilled with, vet restraint, typical, grooming and ear cleaning, nail trims, vaccinations, blood draws, things like that. He is playful and definitely a handsome guy. Those eyes are definitely showstoppers. He's got those great eyes, and we think that he's going to be a great addition again for somebody who's cat savvy. And there are people out there that just want the sweet cat all the time, but we have quite a few people on staff here that like the sweet and salty. And if you fall into that category, then you should definitely book a visitation to get your opportunity to meet with Luke. You can do that by going to visit fcac.as.me. We get a lot of torties on our adoption floor. We get a lot of tortie and whites on our adoption floor. Don't often get true calicos. And so some people can be very kind of confused as to which is which. So with a tortie, the colors are kind of mixed together, except for the white patches. So the black and the oranges are kind of mixed together. What you get with Fable, who is actually a calico, is that you can see that she has distinctive patches of color. So those colors are not kind of swirled together. And Fable has some of the greatest markings I've seen in a while. I think she has like the way that her markings on her face are, they kind of remind me of like the Joker. So she's definitely a standout in that regard, a very interesting, unique face. And she is a sweet girl, but she is a little bit on the shyer side. So it does take a little bit of time for her to warm up and feel comfortable. And she was doing a lot of hiding, especially once she moved out onto the adoption floor, which is a little bit busier and things like that. But now she's starting to come out of her shell. She's exploring more and she's becoming more talkative. She has the cutest little like meh voice that she does when she wants your attention. But she, again, takes time to warm up to new places and new people. So sometimes she wants your attention, but then she's like, wait a second, do I know you yet? But if you have a nice quiet home where she can kind of take her time and you can be patient with her, I think she will blossom into a really wonderful pet. Again, she's beautiful. She has all these cute little quirks about her. And she is a very sweet girl once she feels comfortable and safe in an environment. She did come in with another cat, Felicity, who has since been adopted. So she's another one of our cats that would hopefully, again, transition nicely into another multi-pet home. And sometimes having another animal that's more confident can actually make these shyer cats come out of their shell a little bit more. You know, it's hard for them to sometimes thrive, especially with all the construction going on around here. We do our best, but once she's in a home, we hope that we'll hear some updates on how amazing she has become. And if you want to be the person to send us those great updates, you can start the process by going to visit fcac.as.me. Right now, Winston holds the title of oldest animal in the shelter. He is 15 years old, though he doesn't look like the senior he is. You know, there are people who love senior cats and there are people who shy away from senior cats. As a person who has a 15-year-old cat at home, I can tell you that sometimes those seniors just do the same stuff that every other cat does. You know, my cat might not be as crazy as my mom's kitten, but he's still, you know, moving around and playing and, you know, hanging out with me and being the super sweet cuddle guy that I'm looking for. And Winston is definitely a cuddle bug if that's what you're after, right? You know, the great thing about senior pets is they're more calm. Their personalities are more stable. There's not the kitten chaos. They have experience being in a home. They often already know that they shouldn't scratch furniture or jump on countertops, things like that. And with Winston, if you're looking for a lap cat and a cuddle bug, that's Winston. He wants to be petted. He wants to be near you. He's also very, you know, he's a quieter guy. You know, when you're not able to give him attention, he's perfectly content to get cozy in a little comfy cat bed. So again, he definitely checks off all those boxes, you know, of a great pet. And every animal, regardless of their age, deserves to find a wonderful home, whether it's a home for 15 years or, you know, 1 or 2 years or longer. So we just want to make sure that all of our seniors are getting that chance at that nice retirement home. Because he is a little bit older, he does have some, you know, very kind of common senior medical things, like he needs a dental, and, you know, he does have some decreased vision, things like that. But all in all, our vet said he looks great for his age, and we know that he's going to make a great companion for the right person. And if you think you're the right person, then stop on in and meet with Winston. You can do that by going to visit fcac.as.me. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed meeting these amazing adoptable pets. Keep tuning in for more.